Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ask ServiceMonster show, where you've got questions about your service business, and we've got your answer. This week's question comes from Mitchell, and actually I've been hearing about it a lot lately. Scale. How do you scale your business? We've talked about getting off the truck, but that's just the first hurdle. How do you then grow and hit that $1 million mark, that $1.5 million mark? Very few service companies are able to pull it off. And today I have Mr. Hampton here from SteamPro, who's one of the largest companies we have in our database. You hear me talk about Jay up there at Northwest, but this guy gives him a definite run for his money. Thank you so much for coming on the show and talking with us today.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it.
Yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about SteamPro and like where you guys are at and what your revenue is, your breakdown. Just give us a lowdown.
So, in the last 4 or 5 years, we've tripled, from 500 grand over to $1.5 million, and we'll probably hit maybe 2.1, 2.2 this year. And our main focus is hotels and restaurants. We don't really mess with a whole lot of residentials. So our tickets are a lot higher than your $300-400 residential jobs.
Right.
So we try to go after chains, Marriott's, Residence Inn in the Marriott family with Spring Hill, Fairfield, Hilton's.
So you're not messing with the onesie twosies.
No,
you're looking to land a contract.
We don't go after like Super 8 and Days Inn and stuff like that. We do 7 out of the 10 largest management companies in the country, and we do 7 out of 10 of those.
And how many states do you guys operate in?
We cover from Chicago down to Miami, up to Boston, and we don't go across the Mississippi yet.
So just case in point, time out, right?
Right.
Very different business model from Northwest.
Correct.
Right? Northwest sticks to their area, Whatcom community,
Okay.
and Jay is chasing that $2 million too. He's right there with you.
Okay.
But you guys, in order to scale for the business that you did, you just hit a mass geographic area.
Exactly, because we'll go to a management company and they'll have hotels in different states. Well, they already trust us. So if they may have 2 hotels in Charlotte, 2 in Atlanta, 3 in Virginia Beach, 2 in Orlando, well, we'll get the whole group. And it's a lot easier if you're dealing with one guy that's in charge of 9 or 12 hotels and going to 12 hotels. You will spend 6 months to a year chasing 12 hotels, different GMs and housekeepers.
Yeah. Do you have crew in those different states, or are they just traveling?
We travel. We just opened up our Pittsburgh office middle of July.
Okay, so you have another satellite location.
Yeah, we put 2 trucks up there. They're doing real well. And our next goal is to put something in Maryland. We want to be exactly 4 hours away from each shop. That way 2 hours everybody can meet. That's kind of our goal from Pittsburgh down to Miami. So, that's our long-term goal.
Yeah. So, obviously, your business, big endeavor. A lot of these guys don't have aspirations to cover the whole half of the United States.
I get that.
With the sites on the other half down the road, right? But bring it to a common person. What did it take for you to, besides the sales and landing the national contracts and dealing with the employees and the HR BS, like at its core, giving advice to these smaller guys, how do we get them to scale better?
You have to hire people that are in the industry. Our top people have been in the hotel industry, so they understand budgets. They understand how the hotel people think. So when you get a general manager talking to people in our company, they just click because we know what they're going through, and we just make them feel comfortable. And if you make somebody feel comfortable, chances are you're going to get their business.
So you gave me an answer, and within that answer, you touched on the same point twice that I want to point out, which is scaling requires relationships.
Exactly.
It's
all about relationships.
It requires people.
People.
Like, you need to know your data. That's the point that I want to make, right?
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's about the people.
It's all about the people. Sometimes you may only get one shot. And if you go in there and you're up for 10 or 12 hotels and you blow it, you blow it. So if you don't have the right people in place, you're not going to land those big hotel or big restaurant contracts. It's just not going to happen.
And bigger, not just landing the contracts, but having the people that you can trust.
Correct.
That have foundational arcane knowledge.
Right.
Allows you to dream bigger.
Exactly.
Do bigger things, right? And then putting those people in those positions so that you can remove the emotion out of it.
Yeah.
Like the gentleman we were talking about today, David, right?
Yes.
He needs a salesperson. If he wants to regain the sanity in his business, and it's a $1 million+ business,
Right.
he's got to get a salesperson.
Yes.
To take that
When
place.
you're a business owner, you have emotion wrapped into that business. And, you know, even my guys don't like me to deal with some of the customers because I am emotional about that. And when you have somebody that works for you, it's not an emotion for them. And sometimes you can lose clients over that. And we have lost clients over that. And
or sometimes you toss clients over that.
and sometimes you do toss clients. I mean, don't be afraid to get rid of clients if they're paying you. You know, we talked to a guy earlier, he said 90 days. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I mean, you know, most of our new accounts, they ask us how we want to get paid, and we say just like Walmart. So they do pretty well. So you got to have the right people in place. If you don't have the right people, sometimes you're only going to get one shot at that job.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I was always looking for that 75th hour a week, right? But trying to keep the family intact is just such a pain in the ass. It's not worth it. No matter how much I work, if I bust ass 60 hours a week, like at the office physically working, that's only 60 hours a week. If I hire 10 amazing people, that's 400 hours a week of horsepower. It's a game changer. Obviously, building your business to the point where you can put those people in place, that's a big challenge, right? So let's talk about that. How do you, because it doesn't happen overnight.
No, it doesn't.
And so it's increment, it's baby steps. Walk us through that process a little bit. Because at one point you were on the truck.
I was on the truck. Just actually, you know, even though I started 20 years ago, 7 years ago, you know, I went through a divorce and I scaled all the way to one truck. So in the last 7 years, we went from, you know, 260,000 a year to 2 million now. So,
And that's the second time you've been through that race.
It's the second time. Yeah.
So it's not only doable. Was it in the same geo? Were you in the same area?
Oh, same area. Yeah.
Same customer base.
No, different. I switched. I was doing apartments, residential.
That was my point I was making.
And you know, I kind of ran away from that, and we got, you know, like, and this is kind of what jump started the business. I actually did a floor for an apartment complex, and an owner of a hotel came in there that night and saw the floor, and he thought it was wet, and it wasn't, and it looked beautiful. Turns out he had his engineer track me down, and we ended up start doing his 7 hotels, which probably over the years now I've spent $4 or $5 million.
Getting yourself out there, taking advantage of opportunity, recognizing it when it comes.
That's it.
Like never resting on that, right? It's never about just pushing the wand. Because if that's what you're doing, then you're already losing. Like if you're going to scale, you need to reverse engineer what your path is. So here's my general advice. You want to build a $1 million business, you don't start acting like a $1 million business at 800,000. You start acting like a $1 million business at 50,000, at 100,000. You put in systems and policies in place. You automate as much as you can. You look for amazing people that you can help and grow and push up the chain and the ladder, and then you do it incrementally. You sock a little bit of money away all the time, so you have payroll to fall back on when shit gets real, and then you just baby step, like hire the next guy, wait for your profit and revenue to grow, hire the next guy, wait for your profit and revenue to go, and then give yourself a good 5-6 years to do it, push forward and make it happen. Like if that's what you want to do, there's nothing stopping you.
Don't be scared to spend money.
Yeah.
It takes money to make more money. So
what's the mistakes that they're scared of, right? Because they got everybody in the world trying to tell them what to do. Like, you need to diversify to have 9,000 different services.
Right.
Slim that shit down. Focus on something. Yeah. You know, you've got HR and all these people. Like, millennials can't work with shit. You know, it's like leadership. It comes down to leadership.
Attitude reflects leadership.
Yeah. Very good. You have anything else you want to throw out there?
No, I wish everybody well. I want to thank Joe for having me. And if you haven't been out here to Las Vegas to this show every September, it's a good show to attend. It's a lot of good knowledge out here for people to pick up.
Very good.
Michael,
thank you so much, man.
Appreciate it, brother.
Hey, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go check out the demo. Give us a call.